I may do that half an hour if you want. Not saying anything. So, hyvät ystävät, hyvät ihmiset, mä ei räägi suomea keelt. I warned you early in the morning, go away. But you are still here. Don't you have homes? No, that's fine. I am abroad as well. Maybe we join together later on. This evil organizer, Pia Pale, put me in the end to be like a circus animal here. You have had a very nice conference on a curriculum, and now we get this strange Estonian, non-Finnish speaking guy here in front of you, and you can enjoy half an hour. But not more. Afterwards I will charge the money. The topic I will going to present is about the world of graduates. But before that, are you ready for a small experiment? Yes? Okay. In Estonia, we are the center of the world. We think that the Latvians are very emotional. We don't even speak about Lithuanians. And the Scandinavian people seem to us very slow. I don't know why. So I will ask you a question, and you have to answer to this, yes or no, without thinking, and in a loud voice, as loud as you can, yes or no. You are all teachers. That means I am going to ask the question about your students, pupils, or future students and pupils. And now comes the question without thinking. Do you love your students? Rudolf Steiner did it many times in a whole lecture. And you may think when a full crowd of small German boys and girls were shouting on that, yes, that they love their teachers. And it's very nice to hear that you do love your students. And I hope you are not lying. You know, Finnish people are very honest. And I am going to speak to you about like three main topics. First, one observation, one a little bit about this study, because in this time I cannot give you a full detail. And it's not about you inform you about Estonian graduates, but rather to give you an image of a study. And in the end, we heard yesterday how important is a narrative, a story. As one story of one Estonian Waldorf graduate. I will now go do this running, because you see my body weight is a little bit high. But observation. How can we assess at all the pupils? And why we are assessing those? What we are expecting from them? Is it so that we have got curriculum as a law which says that we have to achieve certain results? Or do we have any goals in ourselves that we want that something comes out of the children? And this is a huge question, I think. And this observation came to me, or this thinking after the study actually, when I presented this to the ministry and some other places. Rudolf Steiner was quite open about the aims of education. I will read it from a computer, it's a little bit easier for me. And he said very openly to the pupils in the school, in the hall, in the end of the first school year, that, and he said to the pupils that, think now, my dear pupils, and the pupils should think so, let my thoughts hurry back to my dear Waldorf school, where my body is trained to work and to do good, where my soul is developed to be strong for life, where my spirit is awakened to be truly good and human. And then he continues, we want you all to become good and capable people someday. And he doesn't say smart people, but good and capable. That we are doing something good in the world, and we really do it. We don't only think the good things. This is very, very beautiful image of education, I think. And it's not saying that this will be achieved in the end of the 12th grade. Someday, in one good day. There's another good quotation. I'm stopping here with Rudolf Steiner. It will be enough, but maybe in the end I will come back. I got this quotation from a Peter Selk's book, Essence of a Waldorf School, and please look at this direct quotation. And Rudolf Steiner speaks about the life forces. But this is not so important that we are talking about acquisition of knowledge and qualification. But the life force is the ultimate goal of this school. And this includes capacities of courage and hope. So that one who is graduating the school can say, I can rely on myself and the world. I can rely on myself in this world. Which also means I have ideals. I have my own personal goals that I want to realize. I go into the future. Yeah, it's not even a point to comment that. But this may be like a guiding picture for us. And now let's have a look at the national curriculum, because we are in a curriculum seminar. We have a very well-defined, maybe Anglo-American style of curriculum, which is very detailed in subsections what we have to teach in a school. And there are some slides which are very nicely written and with a very nice aims. Quoting that general upper secondary school provides equal support to students' mental, physical, moral, social, emotional development. Create opportunities for each student on his or her preferences for creative self-actualization. Sounds like Steiner, actually, more or less. And then comes the functions of upper secondary school. This is prepare you for functioning in different walks of life. To be creative, diverse, socially mature, trustworthy, passionate, everything that. And now comes the paragraph 5, which says, upon graduating upper secondary school, a student do all those 14 things. Upon graduation, that is a picture of a perfect human being, maybe inhuman being, maybe angel-like being. And this is written in a law. We have put the standard we are not able to achieve. If you know one person here, you will get a bottle of Koskenkorva. Come later on. But I make the tests that you fulfill all those 14 things. And you may ask me, that what's the problem? It's a nice ideal. Where lies the problem? It's only the paper. But the thing is that those things creep inside our souls. And I'll give you an example. In a springtime this year, we had a discussion with the Minister of Education with quite high level in Estonia. It's so small that everything is in a high level. We were sitting in a Waldorf school and discussing some school reform and Waldorf school position. And we were starting to talk about Waldorf graduates. And then this very high positioned lady from a ministry who has got a 16-year-old son, he was talking about his son, and then he asked me a question, how you Waldorf graduates are doing? Are they doing well? And then she was trying to formulate it quite clearly, and she said to all of us in this meeting, we were about 8, is the product released from a Waldorf school? How it is compared to the standard of a product written in a curriculum? And it's not funny anymore. I was, say it polite way, annoyed. And I say it that I don't like this attitude at all. The only thing which can prove how we get on in the life is the life. I'm not blaming that there are bad ministry people and there are good Waldorf people. When I started to look at my colleagues at school, and I found actually the similar way of thinking quite often, in the small details. Oh, we have got these students here in age of, say, 17, 18. They should already know that. They already should do that. They should have initiative. They should have this and that. We apply this to our colleagues as well. Most terrible was that I found this thing in myself. That we have those standards instilled And I don't think that our biggest enemy is this liberal capitalism. This is ourselves. End of observation. As soon as you start to see those things in yourself, it's a first step to overcome those things. So, about the study. As I said, I give you only snapshots, not really the full results. A couple of years ago, we made a study about the Waldorf schools. Ministry of Education was interested what the Waldorf is, how we are doing, what's going on in the world, and we were able to collect quite a bit of information from schools, from parents, and from teachers. But we did miss the graduates. So a couple of years ago, we thought that, okay, now this is the time to ask the graduates. And we carried out the study. It was a kind of an inquiry, web-based, as we all are here very good in IT nowadays, and made a questionnaire which consisted on 152 questions. I'm most amazed that those Waldorf school graduates didn't stop filling that online. It's the same figure. Yes, it's correct. We have got 152 responses as well. It's a magic number. Yeah, it's exactly the same figure. But there were 152. Of course, there were like sub-questions. There was one big question about values, which consisted of 31 questions and so on. And we used the framework or this questionnaire which was developed by those German and Swiss graduate study which was carried out in 2005. Bartsch and Randall, they published a huge book of scientific background, very nice one. And we got their allowance to use their questions. So we had some comparative background to that as well. And Estonia is very small. Schools are small and numbers of graduates are small. So what those 152 respondents actually gave us 28% of all basic school graduates and 43% of secondary school graduates. You see here how many graduates we had altogether in 2011. There were 414 basic school, that's 9 grades, and 145 upper secondary school graduates. But I think we were quite successful. We used all the technology possibilities, networks, Facebook, just to spread the message. And actually, I have to say, those Waldorf graduates are truly great guys, girls and boys, young men and women. But they were responding so kindly. And we had kind of blocks like general information, education, working life, cooperation with school, image, satisfaction, and so on. So, but I will give just small slides for every this thematic field. Just to give you an overview who responded. As I said, we took a graduate as a basic school graduate, so that we had really the guys who have finished basic school. There was one who was 15 years old, and the next day after filling the questionnaire, he turned to 16. I was a little bit curious whether it's correct, but actually yes. So that you see the age distribution, and the red ones are female, and blue ones are male, and this color is random. No, it's nothing behind. And there are more answers from girls or women. They are overrepresented. In Estonian Waldorf schools, there are a little bit more boys than girls. But in responding, of course, women are always more beautiful. So, I don't know how much you can see, but just we can get all funny stuff out of those questionnaires. And this is just showing what the Waldorf graduates did at the time of inquiry. Some of them were at home, first rows, some having a free year, some were working, and the biggest part were studying somewhere. Roughly 50% of those who were responding studying something. They were mostly in university, in vocational schools, And in our places, some were working in Estonia, some abroad. And you can divide it with whatever ways nowadays. It's so easy. Our thing is what you can read out of this. But I will not go into the details with this presentation. And this is where obtained education in a time of inquiry. This vertical line is 100% in the age group, and it shows which kind of education they have obtained. Only thing I can say, it looks okay. That this university education comes later, but it's just to illustrate the overall pattern. And much more, we were asking about where they are living, how many kids they have, which kind of way they are living, are they single or married, and so on and so on. So it's a quite a full picture, I have to say. One important question we are always being asked is what happens next after Waldorf school. In 1998 we had a big crisis. We started with the schools in 1990. And I think in 1997 there were some national tests in mathematics. Waldorf schools didn't do that well. And some very high reputation people from a science said that first Waldorf school, Waldorf kindergarten, Waldorf school, and then Waldorf care house. Nothing can come out of this old system. That meant that we lost nearly half of our students from a school. And we are only now recovering, and we see much better numbers in the schools and new schools opening in the last 3 years. And this, I am not again blaming the scientists. We were not maybe able to cope with this big start. We didn't have much of an explanation to the people. We were not maybe too enough confident what we are doing and how we are doing. So, but yes, yes, you see here the share from after the grade 9 and grade 12, and roughly half of them go straight to the universities. About 13% take some sort of 3-year, some go to military service, and so on. Much more in a study itself. Next question, of course, comes. And we know about where they started their education in Waldorf school, in which class, which school, where they finished it or left the school, and which school they went further to study. So that we have a full list of those people, which school they go to a vocational school or universities, which fields they studied and which kind of profession they obtained. It's a full list. And the only conclusion which I can say that from this work that, to my opinion, as a one who's looking at the results, that Waldorf school is not closing any doors. It's another question whether it opens all the doors, but it's not closing any doors, so that they can go study the sciences or music or being a hairdresser. There are a full list of very nice professions. And then working life. We had 95 people who have been working already, and there is a list of kind of structural list of branches, and they seem to work everywhere. There is a big number in services, and that just shows that they are studying or working during the studies. And it's not much can be said about a working career because they are still so young. But still we have this initial information, what kind of position they have in companies, are they satisfied with their work, and so on. And maybe in 5-10 years we could make another similar sort of study and compare the trends. We ask what gives enthusiasm to the work. And you see the green ones, the left ones should be dark green and the light green. They are like a positive answers. That those things gives me a lot of enthusiasm, quite a bit of enthusiasm sometimes, and so on. And the first ones for those young people is as I listed, there are no big differences. My work is recognized, I can see the results of my work, self-development, and so on. So that salary and making career are important, but maybe not in always in the first place. I will show you the results of a previous study. What gives enthusiasm to the Waldorf teachers? Don't think that they are working, they don't need the money. We heard today in the morning, less money, better results. We use the same system in Estonia, but I don't know what about the results. But less money anyway in Waldorf school. And you see that what is, I'm quite happy with the result, what I see from here, but the most important things for the Waldorf teachers really are the possibilities to communicate with students and to see their development. Interesting work, self-development possibilities. I think we are on the right track in that sense. It works. Cooperation with a school. We keep talking about the Waldorf, all nice stories, that we have those small societies which are functioning in a very fine way, and it's a very beautiful picture. And when you enter into those communities, you almost always get into some sort of crisis. This is my experience. Actually, I like very much crisis. It always, when you get the crisis and you are not exactly the focus, it's always very interesting to follow those developments which may come out of this crisis. So we were asking, and here are as well, again the answers from teachers, parents and graduates, not only from this study, that parents see that cooperation is so important between parents, teachers and students. But the experience of the teachers, which is the upper rows, as I said, the left ones are positive answers, the yellow one is so and so, but we are not so satisfied with the reality of cooperation between parents and teachers. And the last one just shows that the graduates as well consider their cooperation after the school quite important. And when we ask, have you made the cooperation, then only 10% said that they did something. Visiting the school, giving some lessons, helping with some activities and so on. So that we think there is still quite a potential. I don't know how it is in Finland, but it needs a special work. It doesn't come just by itself. Image of a Waldorf school. As I already described you this crisis, at those days, Waldorf school teachers in Tartu tried to go on the sideways behind the screen, not showing their faces, but they are from Waldorf. Those times are past. I think nowadays we have got in last years such a good publicity that we do not have to be ashamed by any means. But still, there are a lot of funny things being thought among different people about the Waldorf. So that we still see this image quite controversial. One thing many people consider that Waldorf school is a school for special education needs. In substance, I think it's correct. We all have special education needs. I had very special education needs. Maybe you had as well. We don't have universal education needs. But still, sometimes we call it like a school of those stupid youngsters. What we have seen or experienced is really we get quite a number of students in the grades starting 4th, 5th, 6th from a state school. We get youngsters to the grades 10, 11. And in this age already it becomes truly tricky. We have had a very good stories that people got back into the track again. They found some enthusiasm, were able to engage themselves. There have been sad stories that they left our school and we don't know where we are at the moment. So that, this is not again to blame a general educational system. This is a problem for all of us. To finding a right place, right way, right curriculum, give a freedom to teachers, give them enthusiasm, some money to live, It's not so tricky, but if you start to work on that, out how to organize this, it becomes, of course, much more trickier. I will not go into the detail. There are quite interesting questions about how satisfied, or answers, how satisfied youngsters are after a Waldorf school. But one criterion of reality is really, do I put my own kids to a Waldorf school? I may say whatever good memories, but if I will come to this point, and I am in a position that there is a close nearby is a Waldorf school, will I put my own children to Waldorf school? And it's a much better question than whether I am satisfied with a Waldorf school. So that there are quite a number who are happy to do that. There are some who are a little bit doubting about that. And they are much more eager to put kids to the kindergarten. It's an interesting thing. We don't know exactly what's behind. But we asked as well, what are the main reasons if you are doubting? And we've got a full list. And it's very much interconnected with the satisfaction of Waldorf schools. If you have been happy what you experienced, then usually those problems are outside problems, like I am living in the area where is no Waldorf school, or is it too expensive? But if I had some bad experiences or not so nice experiences, then those reasons are like inner doubting, whether this system at all good, and so on, whether this pedagogic, is it right or not? It's a very, very interesting question. So, values. There were a list of values. It's coming from this German study. And here are listed the most important aspects of life. Every graduate had to assess whether this or that thing is important for me in my life. And it's quite universal, I think. I hope it's valid for all young people, not only for Waldorf graduates. But those first 5 things which connected to human beings are on the top. I don't have any comparison basis. I was asked in a ministry that do you have a similar sort of data for all population of Estonian young people? I don't have, but I truly hope that this is the same. And the last ones in the list, they are not all listed, there are 30 those, of course, like quick car driving and watching TV and so on. But there are some things, of course, following which are becoming our everyday reality, like using IT. It's not anymore something goal or aim. It is there. This is normal part of our life. And I think it's quite a challenge for Waldorf how to handle this. So, there are a lot of questions, and I only show you 2 slides about how the graduates experienced the school, whether it was a meaningful place or not. And here are kind of a tricky question, like a negative questions. So that I felt that demands were one-sided in school, and only marginal proportion of young people were agreed with this kind of saying, and so on. What is coming out of those questions is a third from the top, and this is quite similar to the one from the conclusions of a German Waldorf school. That young people have received some extra schooling during the school. Quite a number. But we don't have here extra questions, so that we cannot answer. Was it given by the same teachers? Was it given at home by parents? Was it given by some extra outsourced private teacher? We don't know it. But this is a question. Why we should have an extra teaching to be received outside the normal classes? I don't have an answer, but I have a good question. And kind of a general satisfaction figures seems to be rather high. So that we generally can say that it seems that Estonian Waldorf graduates have been happy with the Waldorf school in general. There are single cases where something went bad, but But the percentages are very high, the positive responses for the questions that I felt belonging to school, I felt myself well in school, I felt myself secure in school, and so on. And they are quite happy with their teachers. Like most of my teachers were understanding conversation partners. This question would be quite hard if somebody were ask me about my school times. We had very teacher-centered school at that time. I heard you don't have it anymore, or will not have it anymore here. But anyway, general satisfaction is quite high. There are specific areas, I don't have slides here, but the question of teaching sciences, are there enough those modern topics inside the teaching, like what's going on in the world? There are quite a number of young people who said that there is not enough those themes brought in. And somehow those mentionings are very similar to the German study. No, maybe those things are truly questions of our time, of a older schooling system in a bigger scale. I don't know, but some things were rather of the same pattern. We are talking a lot about testings, how bad it is. I was very good in testings. I like tests because I got always good marks. But I'm not a fan of testings. 2 minutes. I will end it now. We asked 11 questions, 11 skills and capacities. Whether in a Waldorf school enough attention was paid developing those capacities and skills. And the best mark, general mark, got the creativity, but I have to say that almost all are quite high marks. So that somehow we can be satisfied with a Waldorf school, but it's a very tricky issue. I skip those ones. But then we asked, what is really important? What the graduates value most? If you think you were 18 years old, 19 years old, youngster entering the world, what are the 3 most important skills in your life? Being independent is the first one. I don't know whether it's Estonian quality or not. Surviving, staying alive in a forest, this is Estonian quality. Whether it is same in Finland, I don't know. But it seems that actually those things we were asking are important for young people as well. So we got the report out of that, had presentations, got quite a bit of media coverage, and most important, we found very interesting questions. And now quickly the story in those few minutes. This boy was born in 1992. His father built him equipment to give him a good education. You see the equipment here, it's hard to see. There's a big bottle and there is one tube you can put into the mouth and that feed it with knowledge. This small boy. But it soon turned out that they were finding their own ways, like this picture is about drinking a bird shot. Wherever you open a source, we are going and get it. Of course, then comes a time that you have to find a good school. The boy entered the Waldorf school, first class in Tartu, with 5 students. It's like homeschooling, having a good friends. But they still come back to this source. If it's the right schooling, they find the source. Do it at school. And you may have very nice family, small sister, nice mother, father is missing from a picture, as always. But you then have to make this upside down turn. You have to break all the chains which are tying you up. You are coming to a puberty, you have to break everything, but not breaking for leaving everything. You get something new. But this upside down gesture, actually here is a small boy who looks like a mushroom. I don't know how it's well seen, it's on a screen. But you have to do this gesture. We think this is a miracle of Waldorf school, but he studied it in a circus training. And of course, And you will find very good friends after that. You have breaking up from your family, from your class, maybe some other ties. And you may end up like this in the end of 12th grade. You're looking like very smart, most smart in the world, with a bunch of your friends. You have all your own activities, which even your family doesn't know. You are finishing the school, you are well dressed, you are entering the life, but what then? This boy was finishing the school with the best marks. In Estonia, finishing the school is Olympic Games. If you're finishing with the best marks, you are being received by the President of Estonia and you receive gold medal. This is a sports. He received one, but during the receiving, this is a true story, it was a thunderstorm with a rain. So how the life was welcoming him after Waldorf school. The lady next to her is her classmate of Canadian background. Some of your friends go out of life. Oh, it's not possible to see. Maybe next one. Do you see anything here? Maybe they become a policeman in Finland, guarding those very strange Finnish girls. I don't know what you do here with your girls, as they look like, but this is a true story. This is this boy's friend who went to live in Tampere, and this picture from a Sorin Circus webpage. I am thinking 2 slides. After that, I don't have slides. This boy entered the university, and I heard from him only once that there are so many students who just want to get things done. They are not interested in what they are studying. And this applied to the lecturers and teachers as well. And it was pity to hear. After 1.5 years of studies, he said that this is not perhaps the right profession. And he decided that he will join the army. Now he is in a scouts battalion called Julius Cuperiano battalion, having a scouts training which is the most tough in Estonia. So he said, I want to have a real experience from life. I met this guy before I left on Wednesday in my home. I said to him, where are you going? He said, I'm going out to having a pint of beer. I said, okay, with a smiling face. And when I told him, I will going to speak about you, he did say nothing, had a smiling face. Whatever you old chap do, that's okay. We were giving each other a hug and no kiss. Just a last slide, I will pass this. Do you know those guys? You can't see those. Those are your great-grandfathers. Those are Pohjan pojad who were coming in 1918 to Tallinn and fighting next to our men in the frontier. In a time of total mess, nobody knew what's coming next. Those guys had the courage and hope. I hope you have at schools as well.